Okay. Hi, my name is Joanna Whitney. I am an intuitive artist and a student of natural law, and I'm going through the Formal Consensus book. And yesterday I made a video and I talked about social media and how divisive it is and how I'm not going to be using it anymore. And I talked about how most important things to talk about right now are nonviolence, training in nonviolent communication and informal consensus, like that we do regular trainings in those things, because out there it's just so nuts. And I had a story to tell yesterday, but I was still so overwhelmed by what had happened that I wasn't ready to tell the story yet, but I'm going to tell the story right now. And I'll either post this video as an addendum or I will just roll it into next week's video and just wait. But this is why I feel that it's really important to focus on formal consensus decision-making, egalitarian decision-making together, and trainings in nonviolent communication. Now, I just had this experience, and I don't know why. I always have experiences like this for some reason. Maybe it's because I'm a leader of a sort and I can share my experience and it will be helpful to others. I'm not sure, but I do. I have these experiences a lot. So I went to Office Depot yesterday to make 2 copies. At Office Depot, they have 2 self-service machines and the print desk. When I went in there yesterday, the print desk person was on lunch and there was a woman using both the self-service machines, and they were both jammed. So she said, as I walked in the door, there was also 2 people in front of me waiting for her, standing there, just standing there waiting for something. And someone came over from the Office Depot staff and said, our print person is on lunch. So I thought, okay. And the lady who was using both the self-service machines said to the staff person, both the machines are jammed. So the guy set about to unjam the machines. And when he got done, I said to her, you're using both the self-service machines? Just like that. And she said, yes, I'm a paying customer just like you. I can do it. I need to get this done and they didn't do my order. So I'm standing there with the other 3 people who were standing there. And I actually just prayed to God. I was like, God, please, what do you want me to do here? And I was printing something that's kind of controversial, and I had said bless it or block it before I left the house because I wasn't sure if God really wanted me to carry this out. So I had a thought, like, am I being blocked, like, to go through with this printing of this thing? Am I supposed to go home? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to, I don't know anywhere else to go in the neighborhood where I could get a copy made. I just was having that, mental conversation with myself about the situation. But I had prayed, I had said, God, please help me. Like, what do you want me to do? And like within about 3 minutes, the lady goes, well, I'm just going to let you use the machine because I'm a nice person. And I just prayed to keep my mouth shut. And I just went over and started using the machine. And because the girl who was ahead of me was now working with the print lady who got back from lunch. And so I went over to the self-service machine and started using it. And as I said, I only had 2 copies to print. It took like under 1 minute for me to print those copies. And so I printed the copies and I started to walk away, and the lady goes, "Well, you're welcome." I'm sorry. I can't get through this without a straight face. "Well, you're welcome." And I just literally had gridlock in my head. I mean, I now regret not saying so many things that I thought about saying to her. The guy behind me said, "Are you finished?" And I said, "Yes, I am finished." And I walked away in mental gridlock. And then she said, "You're welcome." And I said, this is the only thing I could think of to say. And I almost wish I had said nothing, you know, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. But I said, "Entitlement is not a virtue." And I walked out, and I thought, she's not going to understand that at all. She's not going to understand what I just said, but whatever. Anyway, I literally didn't know what had just happened. I had no idea what had just happened because I was so blown away. Number one, that no one at Office Depot, none of the people who worked there told that woman that she could only use one self-service machine, that the other one was for the rest of us. They didn't. Why? Are they afraid they're not allowed to speak up? I don't know why. Okay, that was the first thing that happened. The second thing was that the people who were waiting with me asked me things like, "What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know what to do now." What they asked me. I don't know why. Maybe because I don't know. But the reason why this is important is because I had to actually call a friend of mine on the phone to verify that I was right for being horrified by how I had just been treated by this person. And that's why it's so important that we do trainings in egalitarian communication and nonviolent communication. And I mean, formal consensus decision making, because in the world we are being bombarded by selfish assholes every day doing crap like this lady. I just could, I'm still blown away by the whole thing, honestly. But that's why I feel like I know every single one of us is dealing with this, because when I called my friend to talk to him about it, he laughed and he said, "I'm kind of surprised that you're calling me to talk about this, because I have to deal with this every single day." And I was like, I must be living under a rock. I mean, I have been working remotely from home for 2 years, so I hardly ever go out, and I only go to the places I want to go to most of the time, and try to only deal with people I want to deal with, which has ended now, because I'm going to be doing something else now. My circumstances have changed, so I might have to be more out there more, and that kind of scares me, honestly, because I am very sensitive, and it's going to be very difficult for me to be constantly bombarded by people like this. I don't know if it's a constant, if everyone has to deal with people like this all the time, but I sure don't expect it. I don't go places, expecting that I'm going to be dealing with self-centered assholes, like that. And what will happen, I'm sure, is that I will become desensitized, which is why, because I'm sure everyone who has to deal with people like this on a regular basis are going to become desensitized to that. And then as a result, will either internalize that behavior themselves, not realizing it, and then, it will be much more difficult to be egalitarian, in other words, thinking of other people in a decision-making process. Either you will like chew it up, swallow it, digest it, and become like those people, or the other possibility is if it was me, I would just be in a constant state of either defensiveness or anger, expecting to run into people like this and trying to stay on guard. I mean, what I would do, what I would try to do is to pray first before I leave the house. But I mean, come on now. I'm an airhead. I have no earth in my chart. And for me to remember to pray before I go out every time to, if I run into a situation like this, that I'll be able to handle it in a diplomatic way, or be able to stand up. That's what I want to be able to do. I had a lot more things I would have liked to have said to her. However, this is the other thing, okay, is that by not saying many of the things that I would have liked to have said, which I will not say here because they're profane, I left her to think about it herself, what happened. I mean, there's this spiritual concept of, which I'm not sure what the actual spiritual concept is, but I'll call it neither endorsing nor opposing causes. In other words, by neither sidling up to her and kissing her ass or, really fighting her and telling her off, I remained in a state of neutrality. And as a result of that, she's left holding her bag of shit. I did throw in that line about entitlement not being a virtue at the end as I walked away. But it's more likely that she will have to look at herself if I don't fight her. And that's the point, isn't it? I mean, I don't think humans are by nature self-centered assholes, but what's happened is that the way that the media has been incubating us in the last 5 years or more. I mean, this started happening long before COVID, but COVID and being locked down and isolated has definitely taken its toll in so many ways that you all already have heard me say. But that people just are not like this person. I don't mean people on the whole. I'm not trying to make a general statement, but someone like this, she's not looking at herself. She's not reflecting on how she's behaving. She actually thought she was right. Oh my God. She thought that she was being nice by giving me access to the second self-service machine. Like, she thought she had a right to use all the machines and make us wait. I mean, it's just amazing to me that was the case. And so that is why I feel that is so important right now to practice nonviolent communication and formal consensus. And, actually, I think I am going to publish this video right now. And I'm not even going to read out of the book because this is, I don't know. I just feel like this is very, very important. I'm sure every single person who sees this video has had an experience like this recently. It's going on. And that's why we have to counteract it by studying and participating in activities that with each other, not just alone, but with each other, that are nonviolent and involve equal participation in decision making, because it is the antithesis of what we are constantly being bombarded with out there. So that's my addendum to yesterday's video. Enjoy.